There's always a week. It's almost inaugural at this point. And it's in every single sport. But there's always a week where if you look at the college ranks, a bunch of top ranked teams lose. If you look at the NFL, a bunch of teams that shouldn't lose ultimately lose. That's kind of where you get the saying any given Sunday or any given Saturday, because every single year there's always a week like that where multiple top ranked teams or multiple top ranked NFL teams ultimately lose. Week 6 was the week for that in the NFL. And we had a couple of losses that obviously shouldn't have happened. We had the Eagles lose to the Jets. We had the 49ers lose to the Browns. And we're going to talk about it. But the one that to me is a little more concerning than the rest, obviously, is the Eagles losing to the Jets. And I'm not saying concerning. I don't think that the Eagles are going to fall off a cliff. I don't think the Eagles have fallen off a cliff. I think that it was just one game. I'm not saying the Eagles are trash. It's just one game. But this one game is a microcosm of issues that I've had with this Eagles team this year. Let's not get it confused here, man. I've been on this podcast several times saying how I was wrong about Jalen Hurts and how Jalen Hurts has obviously exceeded my expectations as a starting quarterback. But what I've seen this year is slightly a regression of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has not looked anything like he's looked last year. Now, a lot of people want to attribute that to not having having a new offensive coordinator. And I know that it's very hard to say, well, the Eagles don't look that good and they're 5-1, but they haven't. And they haven't looked good on either side of the ball consistently. Again, and another thing, obviously, is they do have a much harder schedule this year than they did last year. So I'm not going to sit out here and say that the season's over. I'm not going to come out here and say that, Jalen Hurts is I'm not going to say that. But what I will say is when you look, it just seems like there is a disconnect. They're trying to. LaShawn McCoy says something on the Herd, Colin Cowherd show, which, if you listen to it, it sounds dumb. And I'm not calling LaShawn McCoy dumb. Don't hear me say that. But if you listen to the quote, it sounds dumb, but it makes perfect sense. The Philadelphia Eagles is a team that knows their identity but still trying to find it. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, what the hell are you talking about? How do you know your identity but still trying to find it? I'll say it like this. The Eagles know what their strengths are. The Eagles know what their weaknesses are. They know what got them to a Super Bowl a year ago. Smash mouth defense, smash mouth running the ball. Jalen Hurts I'm not going to call him a game manager, but Jalen Hurts being great both on the ground and through the air. You have A.J. Brown. You have Devontae Smith. You have Dallas Goedert. Now you have DeAndre Swift. This team is built to be aggressive on the ground. And this team, as we know, they're 5-1 at this point. This team can beat you on several, beat you just being more physical than you. But as we look and we see losses like what we saw on Sunday, losing to the Jets, it feels like this team is trying to get to what it did last year. It's just not. It's not working to the consistent level that it needs to. And don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not saying that this Eagles team is trash. I'm not saying this Eagles team isn't good. But what I'm saying is, even in those 5 wins that they have, they haven't looked dominant. They haven't looked like the dominant Eagles that we saw last year. Now, again, I also understand, and I even said this coming into the season, the Eagles have the hardest schedule in football. The issue that I do have, though, is, and it's not even an issue as much as it is a observation, is the Eagles. If you look at the Eagles schedule, it is about to rev up to the point where you're about to go through a gauntlet. So it is good that you're going into it 5-1. The easiest part of the Eagles schedule was the beginning, and now that it is over, now you're gonna see what the Eagles. You got the Commanders coming up. You have the Bills. You have the Chiefs. Like you're about to see some teams. So I'm not going to cast judgment yet until we see what they look like after this gauntlet of teams, but it just feels like this Eagles team isn't exactly on the same page or isn't on the same trajectory as it was a year ago. When we talk about some of the top teams in the NFC, the Eagles are usually the ones forgotten. We talk about, the 49ers, we talk about other teams, but the Eagles are one of those teams that obviously deserve to be talked about, but they really don't. I think it's just because they haven't been as dominant as they were at least a year ago. And again, the last thing I'm going to say on this Eagles team is I'm not throwing them away. And I'm not saying they're trash. I'm not saying they're not good. I'm also not saying that they aren't one of the best teams in the NFL. But what I am saying is they have not played like it. And I would think, especially seeing that the 49ers lost, and this is your opportunity to take the sole possession of the number 1 seed or number 1 spot in the NFC, I would think that you going against a Zach Wilson led team, that would give you a little bit more motivation, and obviously it didn't. So, and on the Jets side, this was a huge win for the Jets. Sauce Gardner didn't play. You're missing, obviously, Aaron Rodgers. You're missing a couple of other defensive players, key defensive players. And you find a way to win. This to me is a great win for the Jets now that them being 3-3. But this is also like one of those gut-wrenching wins. And what I mean by gut-wrenching wins is you can see glimpses of how good this team is supposed to be. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. We talk about the light at the end of the tunnel for New York fans. We talk about the Giants and we talk about the Jets and how the Jets probably have more hope right now, seeing as though they know that at least next year Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be coming. When I say gut-wrenching win, it has to be tough when you look at a win like this and you see the potential that could be. This is a Super Bowl caliber defense. And this is without Sauce Gardner, who won Defensive Rookie of the Year last year. This is a Super Bowl caliber defense with Quentin Williams and C.J. Mosley. It's just the offense can't match because of Zach Wilson. Now, I'm not going to crap on Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson played a pretty good game. Breece Hall played a good game. Dalvin Cook played a good game. This offense played a good game. And the only issue, obviously, was scoring. I know they won 20-14, but most of the points came from mostly field goals. So it just sucks because you see the potential, And I'm not trying to crap on this win at all. I'm giving all the credit in the world to the Jets. They played a smash mouth game, and they never quit. They never welted under the pressure, and they won. But it just sucks because you see what could be. This team obviously is a Super Bowl caliber team if they had the quarterback, which they did have for 4 snaps, unfortunately. But congratulations to the Jets for beating the Eagles 20-14. Oh man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.